that over the past few weeks, Netflix has really stepped up their game in shows that have come on. I mean, they have recently added some great shows, like Zombie 100 Bucket List of the Dead is a great anime to watch. Puss in Boots Last Wish, I haven't seen it, but I heard it's amazing. And recently, what I found on there was an anime that I just fell in love with, and that is Vampire in the Garden. It is very rare for me to fall in love with an anime from like the first or second episode. Like, rarely do animes do that. Only a certain few have the honor of doing that, which are like Attack on Titan, Fairy Tail, My Hero Academia. Those are the top 3 that have done that. And now I gotta add Vampire in the Garden to the list. And I don't know why, I just love this so much. It was just fun to watch, and it's really an entertaining show. If you love slice of life anime, I would definitely say give Vampire in the Garden a watch. It is a very short series. It's only 5 episodes, but you're going to love the 5 episodes. It actually really reminded me a lot of Disney Plus's Owl House, and we're gonna recap each episode, what goes on, and why it reminded me of Disney Plus's Owl House. So, number 1, the first episode, it starts in this world. I'm gonna say it's Russia, because it's cold, it's snowing all the time, and the concept of it is that it's a world where humans are at war with vampires. I mean, it starts off really cool. You got these humans that are infiltrating this old building, and they get attacked by this family of vampires, which they end up shooting down. And the main character named Momo, she ends up finding this little music box from this vampire, and she ends up fixing it up and playing it at night while no one's around. And she gets in trouble for it because I guess vampires have super high hearing, and in her area music is illegal dancing because it'll attract the vampires. So during the show, Momo is almost like an outcast to her own people because she is so different. I mean, she's just a person, she's a 14-year-old girl who loves music, who loves art, and just wants to be a normal 14-year-old girl. And then you got Fine, who is the queen of the vampires, and Fine has her own interesting story. I mean, apparently Fine used to be friends with a human of her own, and this human taught Fine how to love music, how to love art, all the things that vampires don't do. And yeah, eventually during this attack from the humans and vampires, Fine and Momo end up meeting up, and Fine hears Momo saying that she wants to escape the world that she's living now. She wants a world of her own where she can actually be herself. And that's when Fine really gets an interest in Momo and looking after her, because she sees Momo as a replacement for her old human friend. It's really interesting what brings these two together. And that's why I really think it's the first episode of the Owl House. I mean, you got this human that, it's still Momo traveling through a different world and everything like that. You got this, other being that finds this human and learns to take care of her. It's really interesting to think of. Even Ida and Fine, they have very similar personalities and very similar, qualities in how they look. They both have white skin, white hair, gray golden eyes. It's very, very interesting to think about. Anyway, during a struggle with Fine, Momo is caught in this giant situation where her mother has Fine cornered along with Momo, and Momo's mother is told that if they fire, that Momo will be killed in the crossfire, and honestly, her mother's a bitch, honestly, and she just says the mission comes first, open fire. And before they get blown to Kingdom Come, Fine tells Momo that she heard Momo say that she wanted a new world, a new life, and if she really does want that, come with her. And Momo does make the choice to go with Fine, and they ride off to Fine's secret hideout up in the mountains. And that is the end of the first episode, which I thought it was slow, but I really did like it. I enjoyed it a lot. So, episode 2 starts up the motivation for both vampires and humans. I mean, now that Momo and Fine are gone in their church, the vampires want to bring Momo back home. And, of course, the humans want to get Momo back. And Allegro, who is... I don't know his role. I think he's Fine's bodyguard, but it's weird. I mean, there's a scene, like, at the very end where he's putting on a ring for Fine, so I don't know if, like, he was Fine's brother or her husband, but all I know is that he's trying to get her back. And, of course, they're trying to get the, basically their president's daughters back. So they have Momo's uncle trying to get her back. And during this time, it is actually really interesting to see Momo and Fine bond. I mean, obviously, like, Momo is still cautious of Fine, but they, like, Fine will show Momo these movies, she'll show them these pictures of art, and Momo's like beginning to trust Fine. She's beginning to understand that Fine doesn't care at all for human blood, that she loves to garden, she loves all these things that something that was wrong about what vampires originally believed. It's really interesting to see the change of heart that Momo has towards Fine. Anyway, during a time that Fine and Momo are bonding over music, it is crazy. This is when the action starts, because as Fine is at the piano playing, she gets an arrow in the neck from a human attack, which is crazy. And then the vampires start attacking, like Allegro starts to attack Momo, and the others are defending Momo. It's pretty crazy. It's intense. It's really fun to watch. What is cool is that during this attack, the church catches on fire, and Fine's first, like, thought is to get Momo out of it. She takes Momo to the truck, tells her to get out of there, and then Fine is attacked by Momo's uncle Cuba. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but that fight they have is actually really cool. Like, Cuba's like saying, you're a vampire, stop pretending who you are, be who you really are. And Fine just says, this is who I really am. I care for Momo. Leave us alone. And they had like this mini sword fight. It is really fun to watch. And during the sword fight, like, Momo rams her uncle with the car. It is awesome. And then they just drive off. And as the very last scene of that episode is they're on the mountains, and Momo mentions that there is a place where vampires and humans can live together in harmony called Eden. And Fine says, let's go look for it. And that's how the episode ends, with them driving off to find Eden. It was really cool. The third episode is really cute. I love the third episode. I mean, it opens up with Fine and Momo traveling across country, singing to the radio, which is really fun. Like, it was cute, them just going across country and learning to bond, laughing, giggling, things like that. It was fun. But things start to get serious in this episode. Fine, being a vampire, she needs human blood. And the only source of blood around is Momo, which gets kind of crazy. I mean, they stop in this hotel, which it's kind of cool. They stop in this city, which is divided by this giant river. Humans live on one side, vampires live on the other. The humans will trade blood for gold that the vampires will give them. And that's like how their society works. Anyway, it's cute at the start. Like when Momo and Fine get in the hotel, it's fun to watch them keep bonding. Like they play the piano together, they dance together. Fine says that she's gonna teach Momo to play. But eventually during the night, Fine kinda gives into her urges. Kind of. She does attack Momo, but she does resist the urge enough to not bite her and to just throw Momo out of the room. And yet, instead of running back home to her mother and finding her uncle, things like that, Momo goes across the river and tries to get blood for Fine, which ends up with her being attacked, which is actually really cool to see. I mean, we got an anime where we got a 14-year-old just shooting at soldiers, and Momo has to have been trained to handle a gun. I mean, a 14-year-old learning to handle something like that, that was pretty cool. It's intense, just like these people that are willing to kill her. But it's cool, because she gets the blood for Fine, and then we get a pretty sad scene. Like, the other vampires, they see Momo leaving the hotel, and they end up burning the hotel because there's nothing valuable, there's barely any blood in that hotel, and at the very last moment, Momo's able to save Fine. And it's sad because we believe that Fine is dead from the lack of blood, and that's really where we see the bond that Momo has grown to care for Fine, because she's crying over the fact that Fine almost died over the denial of getting Momo's blood. So you get to see that bond. Like, it's not a sexual bond, it's just a motherly daughter love that these two get. It's really cute. Anyway, these two, after leaving that town, they're crossing this frozen wasteland, and eventually Momo collapses from exhaustion. And that ends episode 3. Episode 4 is when things get crazy in this show, man. I mean, Momo wakes up in bed where this little vampire girl is just sitting next to her waiting for her to wake up, and when Momo asks where she is, the girl tells her, "You've made it to Eden." And that, it's just like crazy, man. This episode was actually very, very kind of scary, but fun too. I mean, Eden is really cool. I love the music that was like created to create the atmosphere in Eden. It's fun. We get shots of like Alicia, who is the little vampire, and Momo walking through Eden, seeing the vampires and humans just communicating, and seeing the whole community that vampires and humans have created together. And finally, Momo and Fine are reunited. It's awesome that Eden has the celebration to welcome Fine and Momo. I mean, Fine is super cautious about this for some reason, but Momo's like, "We finally made it to paradise." And so they're dancing and everything, and eventually Fine steps outside and Allegro actually catches up to her. And Allegro just says that he's worried about her, he cares about her, and if he really wants Momo to be happy, Fine would leave her here and come back home with him. And that starts a whole, like, kettle of worms, if you will, because something really really haunting happens. So the next day, Momo finds out that Fine has left Eden. After seeing a note, she goes and tells the others, and that's when they start acting strange. They tell her to keep an eye on Momo while they go looking for Fine, and for some reason, they leave with a coffin, talking about how Fine would be perfect energy. And I didn't mention this before, but when they were walking through Eden, they happened across this vampire who seems to be held against his will, and that is when Momo is being hunted through Eden. She goes through the tunnel again and finds the vampire, and what they find out is that the people in Eden have somehow discovered a way to use the vampires' bodies in order to make electricity. And upon finding this out, the vampire is shot, and Alicia is hunting Momo through the submarine. This part is terrifying, man. Like, Momo fights Alicia back, she burns Alicia's face, and it's like, Alicia's kind of like taunting Momo to come out. It is like, if it was a live-action movie, it would be scary, man. Like, I would be scared at this part. Even by a human 8-year-old girl to be hunted by that, it'd be terrifying. Anyway, while this is going on, Kobo and the others have reached Eden, and they're asking if they found Momo and Fine, and these humans are like, no one like that has come around. And Kobo's like, let's stop this charade, we know what's going on. And the vampires are summoned, and a small battle occurs from that, which is crazy. Alicia is holding down Momo and has the gun to her head, and Momo has this, like, dagger, it's like a Assassin's Creed dagger trigger thing. But anyway, she stabs Alicia with it, and ends up shooting Alicia in the chest, and sending down this little, like, torpedo thing that was inside the rocket, which blows up the submarine, and the submarine starts filling with water, and Momo's like, maybe this was the wrong decision, and the episode ends with Fine waking up, tied up inside the coffin. That's how it ends. It's crazy, but really good. The last episode is crazy good. I mean, it's the climax. How it opens up is that we finally get Fine's memories of Arya, who was her past friend before Momo, human friend, and we see how Arya dies and how basically what happened to her and Fine as their relationship ended. When Fine wakes up from the coffin, she breaks out of it and goes after Momo, trying to get her, I guess, daughter, human friend, I guess, which she does, which is really awesome. I mean, she flies through Eden to the submarine, dives into the water, and saves Momo from drowning. And they got this loving embrace, which, again, it's really cute to see how much they have come to care for each other. Like, when they first met, when Fine would try to get anywhere near Momo, Momo would just push Fine away or try to threaten her with a knife or whatever, but they hug each other, which is really nice. And anyway, Fine tells Momo to, let's get out of this place, let's go somewhere just the two of us, and live as long as we can. Unfortunately, that's not gonna happen, as Fine is shot through the head and falls a bunch of stories and hits her way on a metal post down to the ground. It is crazy to see, but after being shot, after she's fully healed, Fine flies up, rescues Momo from the top of the building, and they just fly through the trees, which I think is really cool. What I loved about it, it did like a first-person view of what it would be like to be a vampire flying through the trees, which was a really cool concept. Anyway, as they're flying through the trees, in order to hide from all the other vampires and the humans, they go into these tunnels where Fine tells Momo to go through the sewers, and she'll eventually find her again once they get outside. And she bards the entrance where Momo was, so Momo can't get to Fine, as Fine is cornered by all these soldiers. And this has to be like one of the saddest parts, because Fine is just bombarded by this hail of gunfire. And eventually she has this drug that makes the vampires just like not vampires, more like just evil monster creatures. And she turns into that by taking out the soldiers, but it is really sad to know that's what happened to her. Anyway, Momo runs through the sewers and gets outside. There she's attacked by Allegro, and like I said before, I don't know if Allegro was Fine's brother, sister, husband. All I know is that he's her bodyguard. Anyway, Allegro starts attacking Momo, saying, "Where's Fine?" While he is chasing Momo, attacking her, it was kind of funny, like, to fight the vampires, these humans have these mech suits, and one of the humans crushes Allegro with a mech suit and catches Momo, and instead of, like, before the human can get back to, like, Kubo and the others, Allegro lifts up the suit, but the human does fight back. Like, he does shoot Allegro a bunch of times and hits him with this light that's like the sun, so Allegro's dying. And Allegro ends up killing the human, and he just says to Momo that, "Promise me you'll protect Fine. You'll save her from what's going on." And then he dies. Personally, I didn't think Allegro was the villain. He's just doing his job to protect his wife, sister, queen. And it's just heartbreaking, man. Like, even his death he fell for. But it was cool to see. He did have an honorable death. It was kind of fun to watch his death. While the Allegro and Momo thing is going on, we got the rematch between Fine and Kubo. And things aren't going too good for Fine. I mean, Kubo is kicking her ass, and right before he can kill her, that's when Momo shows up and saves her. And it's just crazy to see Kubo just attacking both his niece and Fine. And Fine, when she's like in her beast form, she's attacking Momo, but Momo just won't leave Fine alone. She knows that it's still Fine and wants to do what she can to protect her now vampire friend, which is really sweet and really cool to watch. Plus, we get to see why Kubo really hates vampires so much. Apparently, when he was younger, he met this woman he fell in love with, and at his woman, his wedding, he found out she was a vampire that tried to bite him. So, yeah, from that point on, he had wanted nothing to do with vampires. So, yeah, there's that. So, Fine gets her memories back of her with Momo, realizes she still cares a lot about Momo, and in beast form takes on Kubo. And instead of killing him, she just leaves. And Momo goes after Fine, and the two ride with the other vampires. But at this point, Fine is so weak from the drug and the loss of blood and the fight, she just crashes into this mountain where Momo has her in this little island in this lake, and Fine finally tells Momo about the backstory of her friend with Arya, how when Fine was younger they met, and how Arya was the only one that knew that Fine was a vampire, but she did still care for Fine and believed that humans and vampires could live together. That Arya was the one that taught her about music and the gardens and art and everything that humans love. And when they first met, Fine and Momo, Fine just felt guilty about Arya, and Momo just looked so much like her. But the more that they spent together, Fine realized that she loved Momo just as much, and that she really did care about her like Arya cared for Fine, which is really sweet. Honestly, the ending made me cry, though. It is really sad. Like, Fine asked Momo to send her away singing, which is really sad. I made a short of this on my channel. If you go onto my shorts, you can see it. But it is really sad to watch. Very heartwarming that Momo sees Fine as such a friend that she actually cares. That she actually cries over a vampire's dead body. It's heartbreaking, but amazing at the same time. And the ending is amazing. After the credits of the final episode, we get this clip of humans and vampires living together, and among them is Momo. And we get a voiceover of Fine saying that this was your choice, you wanted a life that you wanted, and now by taking my hand, you've gotten to experience something that you never would have. It's just amazing. It's a great message, it's a great anime, and I loved it. Alright guys, that is the end of the video. I hope this made you guys want to go watch Vampire in the Garden. I don't know if it's on Crunchyroll, but if you have Netflix, just look it up on Netflix, because I know it dropped on there. Yeah, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and yeah, I hope you liked it. Anyway guys, we'll see you next time.